Hello, welcome to the economic update session. I would like to throw a light on economy. Economy is basically understood and followed by many. But to make this financial update session a little more interesting, I would like to introduce an intelligent person who has served our organization for more than 3 decades. And I appreciate his skills and experience to help us understand a few queries. I would like to meet Mr. Suresh, sir, from Head Admin from LTL Lonavala. Thank you, sir, for coming and accepting my offer.
अरे यार यार
So I just, with this, I would put off some few questions to you. Maybe I feel you have seen the market scenario much more than and L&T moreover. So just to start off you and to make this session a bit more interesting for all our viewers, I would just like to start with what is the key for high economic growth?
See, first of all, I want to tell you, Shashank, I am not an expert in this. See, whatever, if you feel that I can add something to this, I'll tell you whatever I understand. See, for economic growth of our country, the first and foremost thing is that we should have a very good governance system, not the corporate governance, a government. First of all, we should have a single party government. Okay, single party government. So decision making is easier and faster. Okay, then there is another thing, reduction in inflation. Okay, and then increase in manufacturing activities and job opportunities. These are the key factors for economic growth as long as I know.
Okay, sir. In fact, then my next question to you would be, what is inflation?
See, basically inflation means it is increase in the prices of essential commodities. Okay. For example, a commodity which you could have purchased at 10 rupees 6 months back, you have to pay 15 rupees now, whereas your income has not increased to that in that proportion.
Okay. But that could be due to various external factors such as our imports or...
Yeah, our dependence on, for example, on crude oil. For example, see, we have to import large amount of crude oil for our needs. So when there is price increase there, we have to pay higher amount and import it, and the oil companies here who import it pass on that to the ultimate users.
You mean to say it will have a cascading effect on all the commodities?
To the lowest area of the
Okay. The next question, sir, I would like to ask you is, will reduction in gold import reduce our current account deficit factor?
100%. It is certainly we have to not only reduce the quantity of import of gold, we have to totally ban import of gold. Gold in India is used as ornaments and kept in storages. It is not adding any value to any activities. It is just lying idle. So we have to totally ban import of gold.
You mean to say, sir, our exports, or maybe we start coming out with some various designs and we start again exporting in a different form. Will our current account deficit come down?
See, if you want to import gold in large quantity, you export other material more than that, so that your export earnings will be more than the value of import.
So next is, how is the global warming affecting agriculture in India?
See, because climatic changes. Okay, agriculture Indian agriculture is used to certain type of climate, like certain time it has to rain, certain times it has to be summer, certain times it has to be winter. When because of global warming, climatic condition changes and it adversely affects the agricultural growth in the country.
Thereby
And
increasing
then,
the rates.
and then drought, shortage of rainfall. Okay, then it creates drought situation in the country. So agricultural growth there's no growth in the agriculture.
Agriculture, okay. So that the global warming is definitely
Definitely affects Indian agriculture, Indian economy also. Ultimately, if agriculture is affected, it ultimately affects the economy.
that is catering to almost around 25 to 30% of our sector.
Yeah.
Compared to manufacturing, industry and service industry. Sir, our Chief Economic Advisor of the Finance Ministry, Mr. Raghuram Rajan, a few days back said that we need to develop our infrastructure, like our roads, our power projects, in order to boost our economy. He also said that it is heading towards the growth in the next financial year. Although what we are now foreseeing is that it is not very high in that terms, it is slowing down. But he has got this tuition, or maybe he feels that our infrastructure might boost up the economy.
Of course, if infrastructure growth is achieved, it will certainly increase the economic activities of the country, manufacturing, everything. For example, we can say recently Mr. Narendra Bellary had forwarded Madam Manju Godke's report on economy.
Yes.
In that, this GDP of India and some other countries were listed in it. Whereas India's last quarter increase, GDP growth was just 4.2% or something. China has approved 10% plus during the same time.
Yes.
Because of the infrastructural growth in that country. So infrastructure growth will certainly help in economic growth of any country.
Also, do we need to increase the manufacturing sector through some skilled labor or some more advanced forces compared to in terms of our growing economy?
No,
What I want to say here is, do we need to increase in the manufacturing sector our labor, a more skilled type of labor? If we use a skilled type of labor, probably we may have a good productivity.
Yeah, increase the amount
in the production.
Productivity improvement.
Productivity improvement. Rather than we mostly, because for the sake of their payments or so, we try to hire cheap labor or unskilled labor, thereby having an effect on the productivity.
Productivity will improve if qualified workmen educated workmen are deployed for the manufacturing activities.
But at the same time, we may have to pay them.
Of course.
We have to
You
pay
have to
them.
pay them. Without pay you can't.
So maybe
Payment of wages is an important factor in the cost of production.
So can we really say farewell to foreign arms? That would be my next
We should try that because of various gates now. Italian that gate, a lot of gates are happening, corruption because of import of arms, defense materials, equipment. Recently, defense ministers, Mr. Antony's some statement I read that now we should try to indigenize the manufacturing of production of defense equipment. Okay, so this will avoid, for any import of arms from any country, there always used to be a middleman.
Yes.
Okay, there always right from buffers. So all this, if it is indigenously made, there are no agents and we can improve that will say improve the Indian economy also.
So, but
Totally avoid dependence on foreign arms.
it's very nice of our Defense Minister, Mr. Anthony, to bring this point out. But do we have the capability? Does India
Well,
have the capability
Companies
of
like
building
L&T around, we have the capabilities. We ourselves have the capabilities. If an opportunity is given to, I think, to our company for manufacturing of arms, we will be able to make it. We'll be able to make
but
it. And there are several other companies.
Yeah, but at the same time, sorry, what you rightly say, even Tata, and, even Mahindra, or even Bharat Earth Movers are instrumental in having their
BHEL.
all are already in line with this
So,
foreign arms. But at the
Gradually
same-
now, government should try these companies for starting manufacturing of the army or our defense requirements.
they will definitely, India has got the capability, but at the same time, they should be also provided with the funds, the budget for the Indian arms or for the Indian forces, because till now they were totally dependent on the foreign market.
See, we have the efficiency. We have efficient people. For example, I'll tell you, almost all the companies from where we import these arms, these are managed by Indian scientists only, Indian engineers.
But
Okay, you get them back to India and give them assignments over here, start manufacturing.
but we also have to pay them, sir.
Pay them. Okay, still it will be cheaper, Shashank. Still it will be cheaper.
Okay. So my next question to you is slightly different, sir. So should reality market swallow rural India?
Yeah, it will. There are two aspects in it. Rural India is based on agriculture.
Yes.
Okay. Now, reality business is swallowing it for making SEZs and then all converting agricultural land into non-agricultural and using the agricultural land for non-agricultural purposes.
Yes.
Okay, there are two aspects in it. One is some employment will be created in that, whereas that is the plus point of that, whereas agriculture will be very severely affected.
It is happening, sir. We are into concrete jungle.
Concrete.
At the same time, you mean to say that is also affecting the global warming.
Yeah, global warming. It will add to global warming.
It will add to global warming. So the next question is, do you agree minimizing the gap between the rich and poor to help our economy?
The gap between rich and poor has to be narrowed down. That has to be narrowed down. So that in that case, see, it doesn't mean, see, it means that the level of poor should be raised so that they become independent, they will gain literacy, they will start doing jobs. So that gap should always be narrowed down.
Probably the government will also benefit from
Benefit,
the revenue what they are getting.
See, the productivity will improve. They can be given education. Their level can be raised. Okay, they can be for the benefit of industry. They can be utilized. Now there is shortage of labor for all activities. Even I was told that our construction division itself is finding it difficult to get people labor, because their mobility is down. So their level has to be increased. They have to be given basic education so that they will move around, and then shortage of labor for industry and construction and reality activity can be solved. So that what will happen? Economy will ultimately improve in the rural areas.
But at one end, sir, if the rich, the gap between the rich and poor is minimized by this, the poor becoming, not the poor, maybe he becoming more literate and then he also attaining a higher class in the society, who will do the job of normal casual labor, we will find it difficult to get maybe an unskilled labor. So probably there
We are not short of people here. What is the population? 120 crores. No?
Yes.
120 crores. You think that we'll find we'll find a shortfall of people? No. We are not utilizing them in the right there. We are not channelizing the available labor force appropriately.
Okay, but that may not eventually happen in the next few years. It may take around another.
It all depends upon what type of governance we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Fine. My next is based on L&T. I feel you would be happy to hear this question because you have been an L&Tite throughout and also worked with Mr. Larsen. So L&T now is divided into many units. How do you see L&T into banking?
I think we'll be able to do better in banking also, because see, what I feel is whatever banking transactions the company has now with other banks, if that business itself is channelized through L&T's bank, L&T bank will have good business.
By our own
activities.
Yes.
See, we have a consortium of banks. Say, I think 8 to 10 banks are there, it seems. Whatever business we give to other banks, we can give to L&T bank, and that itself will have good business for L&T bank. We'll do, I think, and based on the expertise gained by our financial sector companies, L&T Finance. With that, I think we'll be able to run a bank successfully.
Okay. Recently, when there was an L&T Finance board meeting going on, our finance CMD, Mr. Y.M. Devastali, also announced that the preferential shares, what they had actually opened out in the market were oversubscribed.
It was 500 crores,
yes.
And the first day itself, it was all subscribed to the extent of 800 crores.
Yes. So do you think we have a good say in the market?
See, here I was also told that some people like, I don't know, Sachin Tendulkar and film Akshay Kumar, etc., Shah Rukh Khan have invested more. See,
that shows the
that younger generation is invested in L&T Finance.
My last question to you is, why the young generation prefer foreign degrees?
Even I also don't know. Our IIM Ahmedabad is nowhere less than any foreign university. But what happened, a trend has been created that if you go abroad and do your post-graduation, you will be better placed in the industry or in the area of your operations. That once upon a time when all these IIMs and all these IITs were not there, that time it was valid, but the same thing is continuing now. Even after graduation or after 12, people run away abroad. And then what happens? After getting a degree abroad, they stay over there and they don't come back. They give their services to that country.
Probably then we are at loss.
We are at loss. And then we are also, our industry is also not able to take care of them when if they are willing to come back to India.
So do you feel in this case, if we really have some good universities, as you rightly said, IIM Ahmedabad is equivalent to an Harvard. So if we start creating such infrastructure, since we have got that capability, do you still feel the younger generation would like to go out and
this trend I think will continue for some time more. See, that there is another thing also, Government of India's rules like say reservation. Okay, reservation. For admission there is a reservation in all these IIMs also.
It's not there.
Huh? Okay, so it's not there. Merit only is the criteria. Here there is reservation, you know. So meritorious person, second level of meritorious people will not get it.
Right, I have, I think, covered up most of the thing. I thank you very much for patiently answering my questions on economy.
I am not an economist, I am telling you, I am a layman. I am a layman.
No,
so this you have to consider.
No, I did not want to interview an economist. Basically, the main crux of this entire presentation is to make it as simple as in a layman's language. What do you understand economy?
Layman's, that is most important.
That is very important. That is very important. In fact, I would like to conclude this. This is Shashank for Economic Update Session, LDL Lonavala. Thank you.